We are going to go to our next guest. Joins us today here on our big broadcast. The fantastic Indiana Bradley is with us. The latest live album is Hardware and Stone, and it is out everywhere. You're a rock musician, my friend. I can tell by the hair.
That's correct. I got the rock and roll Halloween costume down, I think,
And the voice. Keep talking.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah, I play on my deep voice, a lot in my music, right? Like, it's a gift, I guess, if you want to call it that, a gift or a curse.
It's a gift to women and a curse to men.
Yeah, right?
So last week, me and Dan interviewed a rock musician who was what was he doing? Drinking Jack Daniels or whiskey or something?
No. It wasn't Jack Daniels. It was a Polish guy. So it was the purest, strongest vodka you can find on the vodka market, and he was just drinking it like it was water. 2 a.m. in a sort of crop top T-shirt sort of thing with his nails painted, long hair, and lipstick. It was absolutely crazy.
During the interview?
Oh yeah.
He just thought it was right. Well, I could fix that. Hold on.
So it was quite the
deal. You're giving him ideas.
You're giving this guy ideas. Here he comes.
I can't be outdone, man.
That is awesome.
My connection keeps dropping out, so I might just
there we go. I can't be outdone,
You can't be outdone. Look at this.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Check this out. This is wild stuff. So, I do have like an actual job, to pay for all this crap that I'm doing with rock and roll. I'm not exactly like selling out the Hollywood Bowl yet, right? So I have a job, and I got to go to, I go to some trade shows. I don't want to get into all that, but I do have some Russian customers, and they give me crazy Russian vodka that you can't buy anywhere. I don't know if you could see this closely, but this is, Russians, they love to fight, man. Like, this is a squadron, like, all about, like, the battleships. And underneath there, you see that little ball floating?
Yeah.
That would be an underwater mine in the vodka.
What's in the mine?
That's pretty intense. Well, it's just obviously... It's just a decoration, but obviously, in war, they put those things underwater to blow up boats.
I was just imagining some
vodka
or whiskey has like a worm in it or something.
Nope, just strictly Russian intimidation. That's all they're going for there. Like, look what we do. We put toy mines in our vodka.
Nice.
Toy mines in our vodka.
I got this stuff from them. They claim they told me this is Putin's favorite vodka, allegedly, according to these cats. They're from St. Petersburg, so maybe they know.
And drinking it straight. Good Lord.
Putin's favorite vodka.
Good. It's that smooth. I mean, it's that smooth.
I'll stick to my Kraken.
Nice.
Man, I should have got some wine or something, man. I'm missing out.
So
to grab something.
the satellite Los Angeles. No. Thank God,
I'm in
no.
Seattle.
Samantha's in Seattle. Jay is, we'll say, Wichita, and
Yes.
Dan is in the United Kingdom. Jay is in such an odd part of Kansas that when you put her address into the GPS, it changes halfway when you get there to a completely different town. It's the weirdest deal because you'll be going along and it'll be like, you have 5 minutes till your destination. And then all of a sudden, it just takes you to a completely different area. And you're like, what? She literally is in the middle of nowhere.
That's my witness protection.
Where are you, Indiana? Where are you?
I love it. Those Great Plains. They can't figure. People. You lose all sense of space and reality. They can't keep track of where you're at.
Right.
I'm in Hollywood. I'm based in Hollywood. Yeah, I moved out here about 4 years ago from Indiana.
I've been there a couple of times. Very nice.
Is that why the Indiana Bradley?
Gotta let him just
Yeah, pretty much. You know, not a whole lot of creativity there. Just like, well, I'm from Indiana. You know, my last name's Bradley, and you know, like, I've done a lot of international travel. I've lived overseas quite a bit, like a lot of different places, and I don't know. It's not that I brag about Indiana or being from there, but kinda, you know, I kind of represent my town and my city, and people just started calling me that. So a lot of like, you know, I was working with a lot of non-Americans, and they just sort of latched on to calling me Indy in Indiana, and I don't know. I kind of dug it. Made my even before I became a singer or a rock and roll musician, it was my handle, you know, Indiana Bradley. So I was like, hey, this works. I'm just gonna keep it.
Now, you have some incredible achievements that you have just been in places and done things. You were in Cuba when Fidel Castro died.
That's right.
You attended the visitation, the funeral procession, remembrance in Revolution Square. The country shut down for 9 days. You have a song called Fidel Castro. It reflects on his transformational experience. Footage of Castro's ashes can be seen in your live music release video. Tell us about this. This is a hell of a deal, my friend.
Oh, dude, that was wild. That was really intense. Yeah, my song, and it's on my album Ghost Star as well. But yeah, online I do have a live version of that recorded with the satellite where I edited in footage of, you know, Fidel Castro's ashes being carted away from Revolution Square to start that journey of 9 days. Yeah, that was unexpected. I mean, I went to Cuba just like, you know, for vacation, really. And like, I think and I was wondering on the plane, it was really weird. I almost had a premonition. I was like, man, he's got to be close to dying. Like, that could really happen any time, you know? And then it did. It happened when I was there. And I'm fluent in Spanish. So like, I have a whole different experience in a place like that. Like, I can kind of navigate and get around and do things that most people can't. So yeah, I pushed the envelope. I mean, I waited in line with all of the Cuban citizenry and, you know, went by his it was kind of a strange viewing. I wouldn't call it a viewing, like his ashes weren't out there, but they had this weird, almost like fake family there, like crying, like their eyes out. Yeah.
That's awesome. Fake family.
It was wild.
Cosplay family.
Very, very North Korean style. I mean, let me just put it this way. And then I went to a lot of the, I guess, you know, sort of the speeches. You know, they brought in all the big hitters, like Maduro was there, this guy from Ecuador, you know, a lot of people from kind of leftist countries. And they were just letting Americans have it, man. They were just bashing the shit out of us and like
cutting promos on everybody.
Miami, bashing Cubans in Miami, like those guys are all, you know. And I was just like, whoa, you know, I'm from Canada, man. I'm from Canada. That's all I told everybody.
So, is any of your songs in Spanish?
No, I don't have any songs on my album in Spanish, but I do have a couple, you know, demos and tunes, you know, Spanish songs that I've written in Spanish. So. Well,
you have also, which is, you're an amazing guy. We are going to have you back when we have more time because you are fantastic. You've got.
Oh yeah. Let's do it every time. I was reading about where you guys are at. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, go ahead.
You have. This is amazing. You've got hands-on set of skills. You taught yourself Adobe Premiere Pro, which is amazing.
Nice.
To do your music videos. You also do what our good friend Michael Nagy does, which is called urban exploring. You have visited Eazy-E's boyhood home in L.A.
Oh man! First thing I did when I got here. Guess
what? Sorry, I've just got to come in here.
No,
guess what the first thing I did when I was in LA, and that was go to the Rose Hill Cemetery actually, and go and pay my respects to Eazy-E. Huge fan.
Awesome.
That's
yeah.
Just a genius guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So no, that's very cool.
So
where's his childhood place then? Where
is this?
It's in Compton. Yeah.
It's Compton.
He was definitely the real deal. He was from Compton. Now I think like Ice Cube was, I believe he was from Torrance. I could be wrong about that. I don't think he actually grew up in Compton, but I think Dr. Dre did. Like, it's been a few years since I did that, but I went around to like their high school and definitely went to his house, took a photo in front of his house. They're probably just like, who's this dude? Like, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, Cube was in the suburbs. That's where he actually grew up. So
yeah.
It wasn't no straight out of Compton for Cube, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Remember then they were like they got, they had that ugly breakup and they were always just ripping on each other, and Eazy was like posting those photos of like Dr. Dre when he was in like that disco dance group, and he's like,
world-class
sequin like picture suit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we definitely have to have you on again.
Yes. Wait.
Urban exploring. The other interesting one, I'll give you one other place I went to very early on, was the site of the North Hollywood shootout.
Wow.
Look that up. There's some crazy footage of that, like real footage. These guys, like basically they were professional bank robbers, and they went in full on like the movie Heat. I don't know if you know this movie. They actually studied the movie Heat. They they idolized these guys, and it basically looks like the movie Heat. I was at a Bank of America, armed to the teeth. Like, this is a story where the cops were so outmanned, they had to go commandeer guns from the gun store, like to try to fight these guys. These guys were so loaded.
I remember hearing about this. They literally had everything you could think of.
It was wild. I mean, all body armored out and just all doped up on phenobarbital, right? Like to keep them calm. That's what epileptics take, So they took that to like keep their nerves calm when they were doing this stuff. And they could have got away. That's the crazy thing. Like most experts say, hey, they could have probably gotten away once, they were randomly caught by a cop driving by. And they probably couldn't gotten out of there, but they're like, no, we want to fight. We want to brawl. Crazy.
That's awesome. So you have been all over the place. Looking at your bio here, you have went to Indonesia, Hong Kong, Germany, Mexico, Canada.
All over Africa.
You've been over Africa. You've been to St. Petersburg, Munich, Spain, the Czech Republic. You've been all over the place, my man.
I have.
And you don't have a song in Spanish?
Well, not recorded. I do have one, but a couple actually, couple demos. So yeah, they don't really jive with the Indiana Bradley kind of rock edge. My Spanish songs, they're super kind of like lovey-dovey and poppy almost, because they love that stuff down there, they're like, but I'll work it in. I will, if I could ever get a tour down in Latin America, I would definitely sing one of my Spanish songs, no doubt.
Well, that's your homework assignment from me.
All right. I'll work on it.
So, what else do you have coming besides this new LP that you've got out there?
Yeah, well, I've got my LP Ghost Star, which was released in August. Then I did just put out this live recording at a pretty cool rock and roll bar here in Hollywood called Harvard and Stone, which you mentioned. So that's out on Spotify, all digital platforms. I've got a full video of every song in the show, so you can watch the show. And, speaking of Premiere Pro, I, did some cool editing and, put in some effects. So it's kind of a fun visual experience, too. It's not just, oh, here's the show live. It's got some spice to it, especially the Ghost Star track. I really went for it on that, like editing in all this background. It kind of looks like we're playing, like, big rock venues. Footage that I took of, like, the National, the band The National.
That's awesome.
I saw them play, like, at the Greek Theater, at the Palladium, and at Santa Barbara Bowl, and I had a great seat, and so I just sort of edited in like the backdrop of all that and the fans, and like layered in my band over the National. So it looks like we're at like these cool venues, like a big crowd. So that's all on YouTube, and then new music is kind of exciting. I am working with the bassist / producer for this old punk band called AFI. That may ring a bell. They were big like in the Warped Tour days and kind of like that early 2000s gothy punk. I mean, so that's kind of exciting. Like the bassist management reached out to me. His name's Hunter Bergen. After I put out my song Under the Night, which is the second song on my album Ghost Star, and said, hey man, we kind of dig what you're doing. We want to do some tracks with you. Like we want to work with you. So I'm working with him as a producer on 4 new tracks, which should be out, anytime by maybe midsummer or something. I'll probably do another full album and get that out by fall. So that's awesome. Exciting. It's those little steps, because I'm like, I don't have a big following, right? I don't have big sales and all that. So like a little step like that in the process, keeps you going. It's like, wow, like I'm moving along. Yeah, no, I don't have 10 million views. I don't have a record deal, but it's little things like that are successes, right?
Exactly.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, but before we let you go, my friend, how do we get your stuff on the web and get your music, everything else, my man?
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. Indiana Bradley across the board. That's my Twitter. That's my Instagram. That's my YouTube channel, Indiana Bradley. I really recommend that, YouTube, because I've got a lot of live footage on there. I worked with some great artists like that you'll see, like CeCe Benhoff, great singer here in LA. And I think like the energy of my show really comes across on YouTube on the live footage. But yeah, Indiana Bradley across the board, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your music, Amazon, all that. And, I got a website, indianabradley.com. You can contact me like a million different ways. Instagram, my website, my email is indianabradley@gmail, whatever.
That's great. That's great. Well, you are fantastic, my friend. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. And thanks for having me. Like, appreciate the time, and much love to Hutchinson, Kansas, and all the people in Kansas and Seattle. And I guess you're in the UK down there. Is that it? Or
That's right, yeah.
There we go.